Climate change, it is affecting your business, whether you can see it directly or not. And you have a role to play. That's why we have Mama D here today. She's going to tell us a little bit about herself, why this topic matters to her, and why it should matter to you. Mama D, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me, Shauna. And so I'm very happy to be here today talking about how climate change affects everybody, whether you own a small business or a little bit bigger business, or if you're thinking about starting a business, climate change is something really important that everybody should consider. And I run Shanti Villa Institute, which is an Ayurvedic medicine school, a farm, and an eco center. And then we also have our parent organization, Heal the Atmosphere Association. So I'm an environmentalist, and I go around to at-risk communities where we teach home farming, Agnihotra, and ways to take care of the community. And so Agnihotra, which is the basis of how we teach dealing with climate change, is an Ayurvedic practice that it heals the pollution and it deals with the climate change, and we perform it with a carpet pyramid. It's timed to the circadian rhythm of sunrise and sunset, and we use dried cow dung, rice, and ghee, and we do this to bring back nutrients to the atmosphere, to cleanse the air, the water, and then we use the resultant ash from this fire practice for farming and to restore soil. And this process also is very healing to people. So if you have children that are dealing with autism, or some people that have PTSD, this is a way to heal yourself. So we like to say that if you heal the planet, you heal yourself. And I'm so happy to be talking about how climate change affects your business, because sometimes we think of home life and then business life. But really, in Ayurveda, we talk about the entire life, because you're not separate from anybody or any aspect of your life. It's just your life, how you live it. And so when we talk about Ayurveda, we're talking about relationship with yourself, other people, the environment, and the universe. And so, how are we to live in this society, in this world, where we're taking care of the planet, taking care of ourselves? And so, Ayurveda is the practice of understanding all of these various aspects of how you live, and then teaching how to live daily with peace, care, and harmony. And if you're more mindful of yourself and others, then you'll be more mindful of the planet. And then we can deal with the climate change. So we don't like to look at the things on the headlines like, oh my gosh, the world is burning up. We like to offer solutions. Like, these are some specific things that we teach here at Shanti Villa Institute, ways to deal with climate change and pollution, and then have some harmony for yourself too.
That's perfect. I think my favorite part of that entire thing is just this idea: heal the earth and heal yourself. And then what I heard was, as you're healing yourself and your community, you then will naturally strive to heal the earth. So this is a complete circle. This is a beautiful, real, lived example of the circle of life.
Yes, 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 it is. Well, it's really important because sometimes people say, well, in these communities where they dump pollution, where there are a lot of factories built, and why are these communities in this ways? Because a lot of business people do not want to invest in building up the communities. And so what they do is they say, well, we'll just dump all the stuff there, or we'll have very polluting type industries being put there, manufacturing and things like that. And then nothing is ever solved. But we say, hey, we as business leaders, let us help heal not just their communities, but all the communities surrounding the area, so that way everybody can live peacefully and healthily. And so, as business people, what we like to do is teach business people how to incorporate neighborhoods and residents in the area to be happy and whole. So, like I said, it starts with teaching about what kind of businesses are in your area, ways that you can clean up, recycle, and for those that want to perform Agnihotra as a way to bring community members together. Because, like I said, a lot of these communities that have the pollution there are no really healthy, productive businesses there. There's a lot of crime, and maybe people that are mistreating children or women or whatever. But we find that with Agnihotra, when you perform Agnihotra, then you do see a dip in crime. And there have been many studies on Agnihotra, not in this country, but other countries where it does heal the air and the water, cleanses the pathogenic bacteria from the air. And that people have used it for people dealing with drug challenges, the drug addiction. So, um, we want everyone to experience these very full lives and be productive and be able to make money at their businesses. But you cannot do that if there's a lot of climate change and chaos in the neighborhood. You can't ignore what's happening to your brothers and sisters.
Yeah, absolutely. And what's interesting about what you just said there was about the studies supporting that. Now, I mean, I would be one to argue, because of my background, is that there are actually a number of studies in the Western world that support that indirectly. So, I mean, there's so many studies that support things like having green space alone can change a group's dynamic thought pattern. So you can go from being depressed and sad and unmotivated and maybe inclined to make poorer choices in your life to being hopeful and positive and solution focused, as you mentioned at the beginning, simply by having green space in your area. And so I can imagine that with more let me make sure I say Agnihotra. With more
Yes.
Agnihotra, we're talking about creating an environment that can sustain itself, that can continue to grow. So we're going to see more green. We're going to see more wholeness in our environment. The water is going to taste sweeter, so to speak, right? So
Yes.
why would that not impact all of those internal and external factors that you're talking about, which directly impacts a business's success? So I love that. And one thing that came up in the back of my mind that I know that a lot of our audience members are going to think of is this idea that, and let me disclaim this, the reason I know this is because I have been the crunchy mom for like decades, for decades, and I get this clapback all the time from many people in my world. And it is the idea, because you mentioned this as well, some of the bigger corporations creating the most pollutants and negative aspects of what we're talking about today with regards to climate change and cultural negative impact. So then you've got these smaller business owners and entrepreneurs who say, well, what can I do? I can't clean up their mess. And you could argue, one could, and because I've heard this argument, it's not my job to do that. They should just stop doing that. But we live in reality, and this reality is such that the greedy people who are deciding to create negative space in our world, they're not just going to stop because we say please. And so we need to work together to kind of make that happen. So I just wanted to, I guess, pick your brain a little bit about that, about the role of the small business owner, the role of the single person, and how impactful stepping into your power could be in that situation.
Well, what we like to say, because with Agnihotra, we're able to get a group of people, or if it's an individual person, to perform Agnihotra um, as much as they can, to be in charge of cleaning up without having to involve other people, because you can't control anyone but yourself. So what we like to say is that, of course, we the people, we have a high level consumerism in this country. So we support these various businesses. So each individual person is in charge of helping to take care of the planet. So there's no such thing as, well, these people over here that are not doing anything and they're in charge of that. What can I do? Individually, when the products that we buy, whatever we're doing, we support all these companies, big or small. So what we teach is what we can do individually, which turns into a collective, to be part of that. And so with Agnihotra, just I don't even have the pyramid over here. I was going to show you how the size of it. It's like a little small pyramid that we use, and we put, like I said, we put the dried cow dung, rice, and ghee. We're doing something simple without having to involve other people. I mean, some people say, well, we need to complain to the businesses or to the local government, and that might be a very tall order, maybe a slow process, but this is the solution that you can do every single day, and the more you do it, other people will want to join and be part of that. But number one, we have to get in the habit of being mindful consumers.
Right.
And then when you do that, also be aware of which businesses are contributing to the problem of climate change and pollution. And then you can even meet with some of the local people and say, what can we do together? Because if you are constantly pointing fingers, it
Mm,
builds animosity and it becomes adversarial at times. And you want to let people know, listen, we want to all come together to bring about a solution. Um, and like I said, it really just starts with the individual. You know, sometimes people will say, well, how can I do something? I'm just one person, but one person turns into two, turns into five, turns into 10. It always starts with the individual. So, individually, if you set yourself up to cleanse yourself of bad habits, of bad thoughts, make sure you're positive, loving, and forgiving, and start a garden in your neighborhood, start a garden at your job, a community garden, involve the local school. These are simple ways in which you can teach the kids about outdoor living and science, picking the flowers. Well, what is this insect? And so that way you're raising children that are mindful and they're aware. And so now when they become adults, they'll be like, well, you know what? Maybe we should not litter. Maybe we shouldn't use those chemicals because that'll hurt those frogs over there in the little stream over there. So it starts with the individual, which really starts at home. And
yeah.
then that way, as people grow up and they want to own businesses, then those are the ones that will be the stewards of the planet.
Absolutely. And I'm hearing that empathy plays a huge role in that. And what we do as leaders, as entrepreneurial leaders, makes an impact on how what people deem. I mean, I know this sounds kind of harsh, but it really it plays a role in what people deem worthy of being having empathy for. And the reason I say that, it really sounds bad when I say it, but it's psychologically true, because we construct the world around us. This is why I say we're never not marketing. No matter what you're doing, you're marketing, on a podcast or in an ad as a business owner. Sure, you're marketing at the grocery store or at family dinner to the people who are directly around you. In fact, you're even marketing to yourself by what you say and what you think. And so these are really important aspects that teach ourselves and the people around us what is worthy of empathy, what is worthy of sustenance, what all of that. So we need to be, like you said, we need to be very mindful about this, mindful about what we consume. And if we tie this back to marketing in particular, one lesson that I learned over the years is that we need to, as business owners, in a tactical sense, I'm talking about, let's say I'm the CEO of Nike or something, right? Some big brand, some macho chops. Their job as marketers is to follow the invisible hand. And you know who the invisible hand is? You, me, Sally down the road, little Johnny skipping stones on the river. We are the invisible hand. So we can't, I just feel like in this context, you cannot say that that one person who could potentially start a movement doesn't make an impact when it comes to the decisions we make in our day-to-day, in our business, and how we're showing up for the world. Because once that movement happens, the marketers of those big companies have to change in order to be successful. They need to follow that invisible hand. It's general practice for marketing.
Mm-hmm.
They would
Yeah,
be
that's
daft
true.
not to.
No, no, that's true. So that's what I'm saying. So I mean, the individual is very important. So, you know, in the yogic system, We always teach about self development and understanding. And so, if how can someone change if they don't even understand themselves? So, we always start with the self, the inner work. You know, what can you do to be more forgiving? What can you do to not be full of greed? How can you not get caught up in your ego? How can you treat people well? And then how can you deal with people that are less fortunate than you? As we see now, there are so many people that are homeless. I mean, there are people living in the woods behind houses up the street from where we are, and just everywhere. And so we like to say is how can you be happy and whole even if you have a warm place, enough food, your children are doing well, and right up the street you see a mother and her children homeless on the street. So we have to realize that there's an interconnectedness that we have forgotten about, and because all of these things are happening in the world, and we see now that more and more people are understanding that we need to really take care of those that are unfortunate. And so, as businesses have been saying to me, well, how can I do this to really do this on a grassroots level where we're really connecting? I mean, it can be anything from having a group recycling month or a day within the month, or you have a time where you have a community dinner that you sponsor at a homeless shelter, or even you have some job training, or you want to have a green cleanup team at your company. So there are a lot of different ways that you connect in a very meaningful way without just throwing money at something. People really appreciate your time, your presence, and you really understanding what's happening with someone from a different culture, a different race, to bring about this unity that is happening. And I've seen many cases of this happening now where people that normally don't uh, hang out with another group, they're hanging out, and it's not about color or race or you're so different from me. Now more and more people are realizing that you are my brother, you are my sister, even if we have different mothers and fathers, that we are all brothers and sisters universally. So that's what I suggest for anyone. I mean, and you don't have to have a lot of money for this. You can go to some neighboring businesses saying, "Hey, why don't we do like a cookout or a community dinner, and let us all come together. Invite the people that you know in your neighborhood. Invite other businesses, and you can do it there at the end of that city block, or here you
Mhm.
host it in the parking lot of your business, or let's do something, and then you can address the needs of, oh, here, did you see someone was sick or someone was on drugs? Does anyone know someone that can help them or get some county services? This is how you tend to the community, and you don't have to have a lot of money, and you'll be surprised at how much people want to help, how much they'll donate, whether it be clothes, time, money, whatever it is. So this is a way that people are dealing with that without having to deal with the local government. And if you include the businesses that you think are doing a lot of pollution, you can involve them, and then you can have people come in there and teach them how to really clean up the pollution. And this is what cities will have me come in and do, our organization, and we'll go in and show them how to set up a community garden, how to show them how to clean up the lead or dump, the dump things in that neighborhood, how to clean that up, involve the people, and really give the people a reason to want to be in the neighborhood and to get it brightened up, to get it back positive, and to get it, get some of the crime out of the way. So this is something that
Absolutely.
business owners can do, and doesn't take that much time. Everybody has like that one or two people at their job that wants to do things, or they're already doing things, and then they can really engage with the people in the area to make a change. And really, people want to support businesses like that. They want to support a business that really cares about the people, that's just not thinking about the quarterly, um profits. Okay, they want to
Absolutely.
feel like they're engaged and they're thought of.
I love that. And the words, there were a few words that I really liked, two of which being interconnectedness and engaged. And I'm a words person. So just this idea of like, We are all indeed connected in some way, shape, or form. And this is not, and this also, I wanted to make sure I disclaim this for everyone. Maybe we're a little bit late in the show for me to say this, but Ayurveda, which is the root where we're getting this Agnihotra from, this is a millennia old practice. Like, we're talking about Ayurveda and yoga, which are sister sciences, who are what 3,000 to 5,000 year old practices that have sustained the test of time and consistently been proven to change lives at a deep cellular level. So this isn't just like hippy dippy mumbo jumbo. This is science. This is real, and it's tangible, which is why I liked your other word, engaged. I think it was engaged. I wrote action, but engaged. Somebody who is actually doing the thing. I think that is so important, not only for you as a business owner, but for you as a person. When you are actively engaged in the process of growth for yourself, for your community, for your business, all of these different areas, you become committed to it. And imagine, if you will, many people engaged in the same system of growth within the same area. Can you imagine how amazing that space would be, that environment would be, and how you'd want to go out and say hi to your neighbor instead of being stuck inside with your head in your phone and, oh, I'm not sure, I gotta lock my doors. That's horrible. That's horrible feeling. I grew up in the country. We didn't lock our doors, but today in the city we do.
Oh, I know. And so, but what we like to say, because we teach the ancient technologies, what we call it, Ayurveda is an ancient technology. So we're bringing it into a modern world. So in the yogic system, we say that we live in the world, but we're not of the world. So you understand that the world comprises of your actions, and every action leads to another action. So we talk about karma in the yogic tradition, basically what you reap, what you sow.
Yes.
So when we talk about technology, people think about AI, the computer, or anything with engineering or whatever. But really, technology is a system that affects a change. And we're talking about a high level change. So when we talk about Ayurveda, and Agnihotra is considered a Kriya yoga. And Kriya means that it's a completion and encompasses everything. It's actually the most high yoga. So when we talk about yoga, we're talking about a way of life, a lifestyle. That's how it's taught in the traditional yogic system. So what we teach is the ancient Ayurvedic way. It's called old school, old school. So when you're talking about millennia, that's what we do. So like we teach here at Shanti Villa Institute, we teach yoga, deep breathing. We teach, of course, farming, homa farming, which is when you use the ash from Agnihotra for farming. So we teach many different ways for people to get to the highest level understanding. When you have that high level understanding of yourself, and understand that this entire planet is one organism and you're part of it. So people, like you said, you grew up in the country, but for those people that had lived in the quote unquote concrete jungle, you may not
Mm.
understand about what it's like to touch a tree or to hear the birds singing and
Go
to sit
barefoot.
still.
Go barefoot in the grass.
Go barefoot, yes. So
Oh,
so we teach these things in the modern world. So that way, maybe you want to start like a little garden on your windowsill. Maybe you'll, if you're stressed out, you have high blood pressure. We tell people, because I'm an herbalist too. Okay, if you have high blood pressure, take off your shoes and stand on the grass. Okay, do that. That actually does lower your blood pressure. They have studies on that. Breathe in
mhm.
some fresh air. Breathe it in. Do some deep breathing, take some herbal things. And yes, you can reverse high blood pressure with a plant-based diet. I've seen it many times. There are many different things that you can heal with just plant-based and holistic living. And so we teach this thing. So when we're talking about the yogic system, we're talking about a lifestyle system, a mindset. So these are not just words. And sometimes, unfortunately, in the Western world, yoga has become about looking cute on Instagram with your leg way up here, and that's not really the traditional way of yoga. In the yoga system, the way we teach it is that we teach how to think first.
Right.
Okay. We teach deep breathing, which is the precursor to meditation. Then we teach the yoga posture. So that way everything is coming into sync. So that's a traditional way of teaching yoga. So um, we may teach for 15 minutes and then 20 minutes. And some people will say, well, this is not yoga. I took a yoga class. I'm like, no, this is a traditional way that we teach yoga. Okay. And so
Lifestyle change. This is important. I like, and people, I can't stress this enough. What you're describing is very much based in neuroscience, everyone. This is habit formation, which is like the root of lifestyle change. This is how you can change from having a sedentary, high blood pressure, stressful, anxiety-inducing lifestyle to, oh, I feel connected. I feel like I have true freedom of choice, of breath. Even people breathe up here, we need to breathe down here. This is huge. And so that said, because I could probably talk about this particular topic all day. And I'm not even exaggerating, probably all week. So what I want to invite you to do, Mama D, is to share with people some final thoughts, something that you feel like we maybe didn't touch on today yet, that you need people to know. It's at your root, that needs to be a message that needs to be transmitted.
oh, okay. Well, I think I've touched on quite a bit because, like you said, we could talk all day, all week on these various topics. But just think about what you can individually do, some little small thing that you can do to help your understanding and to help your neighbor. Start with just that one thing, and it becomes a big thing. And you can connect with me, shantivillainstitute.com. I'm on Instagram up under D Dones, DEEDOANES. And then we're on Facebook up under Shanti Villa Institute, and then which is our location in Tuskegee, Alabama, and then Shanti Villa Atlanta, which is located in Conyers, Georgia.
Beautiful. I love that to bits and pieces. And for anybody who didn't catch all that, all the links are in the show notes, so you can go and check that out, click on it, and dive into this world, this very transformative world that can change you, change your business, change your community, and change the world. Like, this is a movement, and this is coming from millennia old practices brought into the modern day that will literally create a better life for everyone. I could wave all the flags, but for now, I'll have you wave the flags for me. Make sure that you like, share, and join the conversation by commenting as well. You have things to say. I know you do. And Mama D and I are here to continue the conversation with you. So with that, I hope you have a great rest of the day. Make sure you put your feet on the grass for a little bit of time and take some deep breaths. We'll chat.